In today's video, I am going to cover a topic that I've been asked a few times during the series of me building a free game collection. Why don't I buy new games? I'll go into a little bit of detail here, and then I will have a video upcoming on how to build a free collection and tips that I've discovered along the way to best help you achieve that big free collection. The link to the series playlist is in the description if you want to go check it out. It is, of course, every single episode on how I've managed to build a free game collection from the Wii or Wii U that you see behind me to all the games and everything else besides. I made a video a little while ago with a list of games I was looking forward to coming out, and Hogwarts Legacy was one of them. And then I was asked the question several times, am I going to buy it? Am I getting it on launch? Have I got it yet? And so on and so forth. And the answer to that question is no, I don't have it yet. Do I plan on getting it anytime soon? Again, no. How can you look forward to a game and then not buy it at launch? And that's where one of the biggest tips in the upcoming video is going to be patience. See, it would be easy for me to go out and buy a £60, £70 game on launch because we've built up the money in the series to do that. But in doing that, we then just outlay 60, 70 quid on this brand new game. We all have that one game that we regret buying at launch. Let me know what your game is. Was it a game that just didn't live up to expectation? Did it drop the day or two after it came out? Let me know in the comments. So you've got to pick and choose when you buy these new releases. Now, I understand for most people, going out and getting a new release is a big part of game collecting, but also experiencing the games when everyone else does as well. Things like spoilers do come into consideration, but also multiplayer games like Call of Duty, for example, you want to sit down and play them with your friends, and if you wait long enough, your friends have moved on to something else, and then you are a little bit screwed, because you'll be playing it by yourself. So when it comes to games like that, I more than understand, and of course this is why I don't buy them, not why you shouldn't buy them. So for me, there aren't that many games that come out that I absolutely need day one. Now, there will be an exception to the rule when it comes to certain titles, and that normally lies with super rare games on the Switch. See, super rare games have very, very limited print runs. They generally range from around 2,000 to 4,000 copies per game. After they sell out, that's it, they don't make any more. I don't think I've ever seen a super rare game go for less on eBay than you can buy it for on the website. CEX get hold of them every now and again, and of course they charge a ridiculous price per game. So of course use your discretion where necessary, but for the big titles, your Call of Duties, your Need for Speeds, Harry Potters and things, you know they're going to have huge print runs, and they will continue to make that game long into the future. And I may very well do a video on this in the future as well, but that's why now is the time to buy Xbox 360 games. They are starting to go back up in price again, but that's because they've hit the floor. They have nowhere to go beyond where they are now. Obviously, they're not going to make them anymore. There will be no more prints of new games. So if you get them now, you can almost guarantee that in 10, 20 years' time, they will be higher than when you've bought them at this point. That's not financial advice. That's just the way video games work. And of course, that's not going to be the same for everything. If you buy FIFA 13 on the 360, in 10 years' time, it's still going to be worthless. And PlayStation 4 is more than starting to do that now. PlayStation 4 games are hitting the floor as well. Not every single one, of course. A lot of them do still hold value, but I've managed to pick up quite a few games, even in CEX, where they are as low as I believe them to be, or low enough that I'm happy to buy them. And I think that's going to be the same when it comes to PS5 games. I want a sizable PS5 collection. I do have that console and I do play that console a fair bit. It's not necessarily like the Switch when you buy a Mario game for 30, 40 quid. You kind of know that that's it. It won't drop any lower than that unless it's Mario Tennis or something of that nature, golf for example. But when it comes to like Odyssey, Mario Kart, even the Zelda games and such, they're never going to drop below that £30 price tag. It just doesn't happen. But when it comes to God of War on the PlayStation, for example, that game will absolutely come down to be about 20 quid at some point, and that's when I'll decide to pick it up. And when you're building a game collection, you don't have an unlimited amount of funds, you need to pick and choose when you're buying these games. Sure, absolutely, go out and buy a brand new game on launch. If it's a multiplayer game that you play with your friends and everyone else is getting it, I understand. If you've been waiting for this game for months, you have nothing else you're interested in at all, you want this game, sure, I get it. But ask yourself a question, can I wait? Do I have other things I can play in the meantime? Because if the answer's yes, then play those other games. They're going to be cheaper, they've been out a while, maybe you already own them. Go through that back catalogue, and then eventually, when you're finished with those games, the new game that you want will have come down in price. So the long and short of it is, the reason I wait is because they're just too expensive at launch. I have to have a little bit of restraint and patience, and that does help. But also, the amount of games I have in my back catalogue to play is probably the biggest factor for me, because I know I can distract myself with other things. I will add to that in a future video with more tips and tricks on how to build a free game collection. If you want to see another video from me in that series, you can click here. And until the next time, goodbye.